I'm very happy with all the progress we have made in our tiny home, and I feel very motivated to continue with this process.
We're Josiah and Lauda, and we exchanged traditional comforts for a life filled with adventure, peace, and freedom when we moved into our van Paz in June of 2021.
Join us as we explore alternative ways of living outside the system.
The traditional concept of retirement is saving up enough money where you can continue to spend more or less what you're spending now while working after you stop working. So you have to save up a lot of money, have investments, consider inflation, all these different things. But in reality, if you start consuming less, you're inevitably going to be spending less, which means you can either retire earlier or work less.
We're working on the first layer of our cob tiny home.
And one of my favorite parts about using cob is that the bottom layer can be as ugly as we want with pallets because we're just covering up with cob. I think it's important to look like the core of what minimalism is looking like what are the necessities. And obviously like water, food, and shelter, maybe a little bit of clothing are all the things we actually need. But I think like minimalism also includes just this idea of consuming less.
And being happy with less.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like for us, it's not just about being happy, it's also about helping the planet.
We have discussed about this a lot, like how we don't want to be part of the consumerist culture.
It just doesn't work for us. Like we've tried it and it's not what makes us happy. And we don't feel like we're making a better world. Like for us, we want to consume less because we think that it supports the planet in order for, future generations to enjoy the things we've been able to enjoy. All right, so this is the first wall we did. You can see the cracking. We did a 1-to-1 ratio of sand to clay, which is why it's too dry. So this next batch that we're doing is 1 clay to 2 sand, and we're gonna go over it and hopefully it'll be less cracky. So each of the 8 walls are about 90 inches, so I think that comes to like 160 square feet. So it's a tiny home, and I think that's kind of a natural transition from living in a van.
We thought about, we want something very natural, earth building, and we also agree tiny home was perfect for us because it's according to the lifestyle that we are living right now.
We're very fascinated watching these ants. So beautiful, so strong.
Look at this one with the flowers, so cute!
Josiah said that it's a flower for his girlfriend.
I think that we have all the space we need.
Because we've lived in significantly less space. When we were living in the van, I got rid of tons and tons of clothes and things that I thought I needed. And even moving into the van, there were things that I wasn't using. So realizing that I could downsize in such a significant way and actually be happier with less was a huge aha moment for me.
It was kind of forced for me because I traveled to the States to live in a van. But in my mind was like, I'm just living for maybe 1 month there in the van. And then I ended up living for 6 months with the same amount of things.
All you had was your bag that you brought. So you had 1 bag to fill all your clothes with.
But at the end I realized I don't need anything else.
And I think sometimes it almost requires being forced the way you're talking about. Like right now, we're living in tents. We're in the middle of Colombia with more or less the bare necessities. It's allowed me to see the things that, I thought were non-negotiables. I thought were requirements, like hot water. Bathing with hot water was something that I always did. And now I bathed with cold water outside with a bucket. And it's been that experience of knowing I don't need all the things I thought I needed. And for me, it's actually a rewarding experience. I'm happier with less.
The best moment of my childhood was climbing a tree or running or playing in the river and skipping rocks.
And I didn't have too much.
This is my arepa pizza.
I think this, at least in the United States, the consumerist culture,
here
in Colombia as well, it's like the marketing or the businesses or just like what you're grown up to believe, what you're taught is that in order to be happy, you need more things. And the reality is, like, sure, maybe you have a dopamine high right when you buy something new, but that new product, like, that doesn't last. That dopamine goes away.
I remember, like, my dopamine high when I was going just to buy some clothes or some shoes, but I realized at the end, it's like, what I'm gonna do with all these things that I don't need? Also with makeup, I bought some makeup, and then I realized I don't even know how to put it on. I never liked makeup. But society pushed me like, no, now you're working, you need to look like, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Like, of course, they're gonna try to make you think that you need that or need anything else for that matter. The newest car, the newest bigger house, whatever it is.
Yeah, but when I realized I have all these things that I don't even know how to use, I got anxious. Like, having too much for me was overwhelming. I don't want. I prefer to live outside.
I think decision fatigue is, like, very real. Like, for me, I used to have a wardrobe, like a closet filled with suits, and I had to choose, like, what shirt to wear and what suit to wear and what shoes to wear and what belt and what tie and all these different things. And now it's like I just put on the few clothes that I have and I do what I want I don't think about, like, what am I gonna wear? I just put clothes on.
Yeah.
And that's been a real big relief for me. It sounds silly, it's something minor, but I mean, I think it's great. Rather than spending $1,000+ on a couch, we decided to use the pallets to make little boxes and then cover them with cob. If you're living in a neighborhood and all of your neighbors have really big houses with 3-car garages, even if you don't have 3 cars, you're gonna think, well, this is normal. This is just what people do.
That's the ego.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think it's just wanting to be normal, wanting to, like, fit in with everyone else. I think, like, the first step to considering, like, a shift towards minimalism, a shift towards less, is realizing, like, what is normal isn't necessarily what's right for you. That's what we realized. Like, what everyone else is doing wasn't working, and so we're trying something new. And so far, it's been pretty good, I think.
Yes, I feel.
Yes.
I think it works for both of us, especially when you have all this space outside.
Nature. We have the world, like, literally, whether it's traveling, whether it's being here. So this happens more often than we'd like. It starts raining in the middle of the day, and we have to cover up all the walls as quick as possible. Minimalism allowed me to see what is really important.
And don't forget to like and subscribe if you like our channel.